First of all, if I want to use a NumPy, I have to import the library, right? The very first thing is before you use any NumPy techniques or the functions, you have to import. Without importing NumPy library, you will not be able to work on any NumPy operations, right? So you have to import NumPy. This is a case sensitive, right? Case sensitive. All right, let's begin. Import NumPy, and I'm giving a shortcut name here. Right? Every time I don't want to write NumPy and things like that. So it is better to give a shortcut name like a NP, right? Which everyone uses. You can give your name, that is not a problem, but it is not going to serve any purpose, because here itself we have 5 letters and we are trying to make it short to 2 letters. So if you are trying to give different name more than 2 letters, it is not going to help you much. I mean to say, you are not going to make any difference. And everyone follows NP, so let's keep that way standard. All right. So import NumPy as a NP. So going forward, we'll refer only NP instead of NumPy. All right. So let's import this library. Now we have learned about lists, tuples, dictionary, sets, different data structures, right? So here NumPy also we have a different data structure, that is an array. We can call it as an array. It is just like a list in the Python, but in the list we store different types of a data. But when it comes to NumPy array, it accepts only the numbers because it deals with the numbers only, right? So that is basically a structure, data structure you can call. Array is a data structure here. So how to convert that into an array? So you can see here 5, 9, 13. It is a list, right? So you can see that square brackets. So everything I'm going to convert that into an array. How? NumPy dot array. So in this parenthesis, you can pass the list of a data. So it will be converted into an array. It is just like a structure, nothing else, right? 5, 9, 13. So we are not doing any operation or as such. We are just trying to convert this list of data into an array. So how do I convert? Once again, NumPy dot array. So if I check the type here, so you see this is a list, right? 5, 9, 13. This is a list. I'm passing this list to convert an array. Because if I want to perform any operations using a NumPy, it has to be in the form of an array. That is why I'm converting into an array, right? As simple as that. Now, let's try to take different sets of data here. What I have here, so this is a main list, right? If you can see, inside that I have 1, 2, this is one more list, and this is one more list. I'm going to pass it, and I will say np.array. Right? So here I'm going to check the type. What is the data type? A is having all this data, right? Array data. And I'm checking what is the data type. And we know how to check the data type. So just D type of any variable you are creating here, any XYZ dot D type. All right. So, and I'm just printing how it looks like. /n we discussed, it is the next line, and this you can see here, star and multiply by 30. It means that I just want to print 30 times these stars, nothing else, right? Let's print this. So this data type is, you can see it is a integer 32, so all are integers only, right? And this star 30, right? Star multiplied by 30, you will see 30 times stars. And the array what we printed is, you can see here, it's a 1, 2, this guy, 3, 4, this guy, 4, 5, this guy, right? So this is how it will be converted into an array if you pass this type of data in this way, right? Simple array structures, nothing else. We are not doing any operations as of now. We will see how we can deal with this kind of a data and all. So simply we are trying to understand an array. Now, say that as of now you can see it is an integer, right? So this is also integer 1, 2, 3. So suppose you want to convert that into float. We know what is float, right? If you want to convert this into float, so you can just say when you are converting, right, into an array, you can say comma d type equal to float. So this will be converted into float. These are solid numbers 1. So when it says, when I say float, it will just convert into 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. Since I don't have any numbers here, it will just keep 1 dot, 2 dot, 3 dot, because we don't have anything on right hand side. If there is some numbers and all, we can, it will show 1.1 or 2.5, 3, whatever it is, right? So let's print this. So you can see 1 has been converted to 1 dot. So 0 is assumed. Okay, if there is nothing, it means that there is a 0 exists. All right, it's just assume that 0 is there. All right. So if you don't want to convert into float, you don't need to do anything. It will be integer only. All right. These are the ways how you can convert integer into float. All right. Now, let's try to create a matrix. Right? We all know from our school days matrix like rows and columns, right? Multiple rows, multiple columns. This type of a structure we can say. So there are different ways of converting matrix. The very basic way is, let's look into this. So do we need to write any kind of a code to make our data in this kind of a structure or a matrix? No. We have already functions available in the Numpy. That is Numpy np.mat. Mat is nothing but a matrix. So I'm passing this data and I want to convert that into matrix. And finally, it is going to be an array. So how it is going to understand? So if you see here, you can say this is in the form of a string. You can say that, but how a Numpy is going to understand, because I'm going to say NP, right? It means that Numpy. It will try to check this data and I have semicolon here and it will keep this data and 3, 4, 5 will be converted into this kind of a structure. 1, 2, 3 and 3, 4, 5. Right? So whenever you want to create a simple matrix, you can just create this way. Right? So 1, 2, 3, comma. So until here it took in the first row and then the next row is 3, 4, 5. So this is how it is going to, Python will understand these structures, right? The way you are going to write, based on that it will understand and it will create by itself. We don't need to write any extra code for that. All right, all simple operations as of now. So now, so we have seen that this is a list, right? If you look back on Python operations, what we did earlier, so simple, we have created a list and assigned to one variable. So now I have a list of data and I want to convert it into an array. So you can have any number of data, 1,000, 10,000, whatever it is, you just pass it here. So it is other way, right? So suppose say if I don't have a, how will I write? So I will just write 1, 2. The way we discussed few seconds ago, right? So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to write directly here. Rather, what I will do, I will store this data into one variable. That is a list. So what I'm going to do, np.array, and I'm going to call this. Different ways, right? I don't want to change anything here every now and then. I want to keep this safe. So if I want to change, I will change here itself, so that I don't disturb this particular line of code, right? Fine, and I'm printing this C. It is just like what we discussed. Fine, simple operations. Now suppose say that you want to copy the data, right? Suppose say marks, right? You have students marks and 30 any number, right? So just me put some numbers here, 28, 60, right? So you have marks and somebody want to look at these marks and all. So there is a chance that if you give access to this whole list, anyone can change it, right? So from 28 to they can change it to 88, from 62 they can change it to 68, right? From 40 to 49, 3 to 8. There is a chance that anyone can manipulate. You want to secure the original data. So what you can do, you can copy these marks into one more array and give that data to whoever is asking for. Similarly, I have a data here. I don't want to give access to this. I will take a copy of it and give that to the person who is looking for. So what I'm going to do, I will take this C is already there. I will say np dot as array. As array, I will pass this C. C will never be changed, right? So you will have your master data. So you are just copying into one more variable here, right? If I print that, so it is just like what we have in the C. If I change it to B, it's not going to impact your C data, right? So fine, it's just like you can say copy, right? Nothing else.